Hey guys, my name is Ryan, and today I got two news stories for you. First, the mayor of Cohutta, Georgia fires his entire police department. And second, Senator Lucas is under FBI investigation. Let's start first with the story in Georgia, the mayor of Cohutta, Georgia. This is the news story from News Channel 9.
We know more tonight about the resolution to a controversy in Cohutta.
That controversy centered on the former town clerk, Pam Shenick. Officers with the town police department brought forward concerns of conflict of interest. Records we obtained show the city council fired Shenick, who is the mayor's wife, in January. Complaints from officers showed concerns after she retained access to sensitive data and payroll information.
Well, the city made it clear they will not retaliate against those officers. The police department and mayor's office also committed to having discussions aimed at resolving the dispute. News Channel 9 Ja'Kai Spikes went to Cohutta today to get more answers from the town attorney.
Our resolution was that she would immediately cease her limited role in fulfilling those town duties.
Several officers signed this letter earlier this month saying the former town clerk, who is also the mayor's wife, continued to have access to their personal information after she was removed.
All right, so as you heard there in the article, the police department is only 10 people. It's a very small town up in North Georgia. I'll explain more information about that in a moment here. But 6 of those 11 officers that are in the town wrote a letter explaining the former town clerk, the mayor's wife, was still involved in government duties that she should not have access to any longer. She had access to the payroll, access to documents that she should no longer have. They wrote that letter, they posted it, they had a town meeting, they were supposed to clear everything up. Everything was supposed to be fine. The next morning, at 8:30 a.m., apparently, the town mayor said he fired the entire police department. Everybody was dismissed of duty, and if they needed help or emergency services, that they would have to contact the Whitfield County to have them provide those services. The notice attributed to Mayor Ron Schnick, he's the mayor of Cohutta, said the change took effect at 8:30 a.m. on May 6th and directed residents to contact Whitfield County for law enforcement services, according to WRCB. The Whitfield County Sheriff's Office said it is immediately taking over policing services for the North Georgia town. So this Cohutta is approximately 25-30 minutes north of Whitfield County. So they said the timing would not be affected. They would not receive delayed services for those emergency services, but 25-30 minutes away, is that actually true? As Sheriff and Chief Law Enforcement Officer of Whitfield County, it is my sworn duty to provide law enforcement services and protection to everyone in our community, Sheriff Darren Pierce said in the statement. So let's check this out. How significant is this dismantling of their police department over there? As of 2026, the population of Cohutta, Georgia is estimated to be approximately 881 people. 881 people. That is a small town, reflecting a consistent growth trend from 781 at the 2020 census, located in Whitfield County as part of the Dalton metropolitan area. So apparently it should be Whitfield police that take over that, since they are still technically part of Whitfield County. This small town serves primarily as a residential community. All right, so look at this. Growth, 12.8% since 2020. That's some pretty good growth there. Demographics, the median age is approximately 38 years old, so middle-aged community. The median household income is approximately $75,781. All right, so look at this. So 38 years old, median age, $75,000 plus medium income. They're not doing too bad for themselves, this town of Cohutta. I'm sure the crime statistics aren't too bad here. Cohutta is described as having a rural feel with a high rate of home ownership. So they're doing pretty well for themselves over there. I'm sure the Cohutta Police Department is doing okay. So if you look on the map, this red dot here is Cohutta, Georgia. Right here is Whitfield County, so the town that would replace the policing services for the time being, is about 23 minutes away, 14 miles by car. I put that in there. But if you look at this, Chattanooga is right here. It says right across the border. I guess you have to go over the mountain, but right there. Now, if you look in Georgia, look how far I have to scroll out here. Atlanta is all the way down here. So the next biggest city is what? Marietta. So Chattanooga, I think the mayor actually lives in Chattanooga, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so let's go on to the next story. So the next story is about Senator Lucas. Senator Lucas recently did a redistricting map for her state of Virginia, obviously to prefer the Democrat Party, and she's saying that her FBI rating her is Trump retaliation. The administration says something else. They say this FBI raid started all the way back in the previous presidency. So let's see what we can find about that. State Senator Louise Lucas, Democrat from Portsmouth, took part in a commission hearing Thursday, roughly 24 hours after federal authorities executed a search warrant on properties belonging to her in Portsmouth. So this is actually a warrant search that the FBI is going into. They're not going into just for the heck of it, for no reason whatsoever. They're going in there, they're looking for something. Lucas attended a meeting, the Joint Commission on Health Care, virtually, but did not have any camera turned on. Sources tell the New York Times the search is connected to a corruption and bribery investigation that began in the Biden administration. No charges against Lucas have been announced, because they're not going to announce charges in the middle of an investigation. They're going to conduct the investigation first. So this is what Lucas' side is saying here. They're saying, what we saw today fit a clear pattern of this administration. When challenged, they tried to intimidate and silence the voices who stand up to them. Okay, but look at what the acting U.S. Attorney General has to say about that. It started under the Biden administration. So I guess the Biden administration was kicking off the political hit job. It seems that the Biden administration actually was doing a lot of the covering up potentially, and it was the Attorney General's office at the Trump administration who ultimately finished up the investigation, said Williams. I think it was just a timing thing. I don't think it was like Trump called somebody and said, go, raid, go. FBI, go raid Senator Lucas' offices out of retaliation. I just don't think that's what was on his mind. Also, we have this article here. A Virginia Mercury investigation shows some Lucky Charms labeled bars contain the substance Delta-9 THC, which it said inflicts with Virginia's ban on sales but allowance of small-scale possessions. Lucas has advertised her shop on X, writing in a 2022 post that she was a 78-year-old grandma who legalized pot and now has her own cannabis store. I'm not the last thing standing between the GOP and the total control of Virginia. The Virginia Mercury's investigation found rampant mislabeling among dealers across the Commonwealth. And the professor said findings from Lucas' store were in line with 66 total samples collected statewide. So I'm not sure if I already mentioned this or not, but Senator Lucas is the co-owner of many cannabis shops. And actually one of those cannabis shops is right in the own parking lot of her office building where she works out of. And those cannabis shops are being raided along with her office building. And I actually got footage of that here. So let's check out that footage of the raid of her cannabis shop.
Hey, wait. Guy in the blue shirt, wait there. Please stop moving. Put your hands up. Up where we can see them above your head, please. All right, gentlemen in the blue shirt.
Okay, so that was a raid on her marijuana shop, but also let's look a little bit into the past. Here, 2020, she was actually charged with 2 felonies for destroying a Confederate statue. Let's read about that. Lucas faces 2 felony charges over the protest at the Portsmouth Confederate Monument in June. Court documents say her attorney wants to see those charges dropped. Paperwork filed in Portsmouth General District Court said the 2 felony warrants should never have been issued and should now be squashed. But why should they be squashed? That's something we need to see. The motion filed said that according to state law, a criminal investigation of an elected official can't happen unless requested by the governor, attorney general, or a grand jury. It goes on to say that Portsmouth Police Department took action without permission or approval from Virginia State Police, the Portsmouth Commonwealth's attorney, the governor, or the Virginia Attorney General. So what does that have to say? What is that? So the police went out and did their job and charged somebody with 2 felony crimes. However, they're looking to squash those crimes because they're not allowed to do it because it's an elected official. So what does that sound like to you? You can be charged if you're not an elected official, but if you're not an elected official, you have to get permission to do your job first. So before I get too heated into this, so what's your opinion on those stories, guys? Leave your comments down below. I'll see you in the next video.